Welcome back, learners! Kumusta kayo? It's the start of another school year. With that, let's start off with a fun-filled learning math experience. So what are you waiting for? Grab your pen and paper, your self-learning module, or your compendium of notes. And together, let's rock math. This week, we will learn about factoring polynomials, specifically greatest common factor. But before that, let me show you some situations and do not hesitate to share your insights.
What about these numbers? Can you think of the common ground on the numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8? Correct! They are even numbers, and all of them are divisible by 2. How about on these expressions? A, 2a, 3a, and 4a? They have the same variable a.
From the activity we had, we can say that we can also find commonalities in algebra, just like what we did in the numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8, and expressions a, 2a, 3a, and 4a. Now, let's learn how to factor polynomials with a common monomial factor.
A common method of factoring numbers is to completely factor the number into positive prime factors. A prime number is a number whose only positive factors are 1 and itself. If we completely factor a number into positive prime factors, there will only be one way of doing it. That is the reason for factoring things in this way. Greatest common factor. To use this method, determine terms which are common to all parts of the given polynomial. If there is, we will factor it out of the polynomial. Also note that in this case, we are really only using the distributive law in reverse. Remember that the distributive law states that A times the quantity B plus C is equal to AB plus AC. In factoring out the greatest common factor, we do this in reverse. We notice that each term has an A in it, and so we factor it out using the distributive laws in reverse as follows. AB plus AC is equal to A times the quantity B plus C. Let's review the process of getting the greatest common factor. For instance, we find the greatest common factor of 6 and 18. The first step is to find the prime factors of the given numbers. In this case, 6 is equal to the product of 2 times 3. On the other hand, 18 is equal to the product of 2 times 3 times 3. For the second step, we will identify the common prime factors of the given numbers. In this case, it is 2 and 3. Now, we will multiply the common factors, which is 2 and 3, and its product is 6. How about on these exponential expressions? Let's find the greatest common factor of x squared, x cubed, x raised to 4, and x raised to 5. Following the first step, let's find the factors of the given expressions. If we are to remember, a number or a variable raised to an exponent means that the number or variable is multiplied to itself k times based on the given exponent. Therefore, x is a product of x times x. Same goes with x cubed. It is equivalent to the product of x written 3 times. X raised to 4 is equivalent to the product of x written 4 times. And finally, x raised to 5 is equal to the product of x written 5 times. Now, we identify the common factors of the given. Now, we multiply the common factors, which is x times x, and the resulting product is x squared. With that, Let's find the greatest common factor of 6x cubed and 12x raised to 5. Following the first step, we find the prime factors. To make our solution organized, let us separate the factors for numerical and literal coefficients. For 6x cubed, 6 is the product of 2 times 3, and x cubed is equivalent to the product of x written 3 times. On the other hand, 12 is the product of 2 times 3 times 3, and x raised to 5 is equal to the product of x written 5 times. This time, we mark or identify the common factors. For the numerical coefficients, we have 2 times 3, and for the literal coefficients, it is x times x times x. Finally, the product of the common factors is equal to 6x cubed.
From the previously given examples, we can observe that prime factorization is used to find the greatest common factor of the given polynomials. The next example that we will learn illustrates how to factor the polynomials by getting the greatest common monomial factor.
Let's start off with this given, 4x cubed plus 8x. The first step that we should do is to find the greatest common factor of the polynomial. We will just apply what we have learned from the previous examples. 4x cubed is equivalent to the product of 2 times 2 times x times x times x. On the other hand, 8x is equal to the product of 2 times 2 times 2 times x. The common factors are 2 times 2 times x, so we got 4x as the greatest common factor. The next step is to find the other factors. We divide the given polynomial by the greatest common factor, which is 4x. As you can see, we have 4x cubed divided by 4x plus 8x divided by 4x. Remember the quotient rule of exponents. We subtract the exponents of similar terms. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and x cubed divided by x is x squared. Thus, our first term is x squared. Now, we get the second term. 8x divided by 4x is equal to 2. For the last step, we will write it in factored form. How? We just write it as the product of the greatest common factor, which is 4x, and the other factor, which is x squared plus 2. Thus, the factored form of 4x cubed plus 8x is equal to 4x times the quantity x squared plus 2.
How is that? Was it easy or difficult? Well, the solution seemed long, but it gets easier when you execute the steps properly. Why don't we try another one?
We have it here, 16x squared y raised to 4 minus 20x cubed y squared z. Remember the first step? It is to find the greatest common factor of the polynomial. 16x squared y raised to 4 is equivalent to the product of 2 written 4 times, x written twice, and y written 4 times. On the other hand, 20x cubed y squared z is equal to the product of 2 times 2 times 5 times x times x times x times y times y times z. We identify the product of the common factors, which is the product of 2 times x times y times y, which is equal to 4x squared y squared. Now that we got the greatest common factor, let's find for the other factors. Again, we will divide the given polynomial by the greatest common factor. We have 16x cubed y raised to 4 divided by 4x squared y squared minus 20x cubed y squared z divided by 4x squared y squared. Let's work on the first term. 16 divided by 4 is 4. X squared divided by x squared is 1, and y raised to 4 divided by y squared is y squared, since we will subtract their exponents. Thus, our first term is 4y squared. Now, let's move to the second term. 20 divided by 4 is 5. X cubed divided by x squared is x. Y squared divided by y squared is 1. And we bring down z. Finally, the other factor is 4y squared minus 5xz. Now, let's rewrite the factored form as the product of the greatest common factor and the other factor. We now have 4x squared y squared times the quantity 4y squared minus 5xz.
And that is it for the greatest common monomial factor. I hope that you have learned from today's session. But before we end, let us have a quick recap of what we have learned today.
Factoring is a common mathematical process used to break down the factors or numbers that we multiply together to form another number. The greatest common monomial factor of two or more expressions is the product of the greatest common factor of numerical and literal coefficients. To factor a polynomial using its greatest common monomial factor, we follow these steps. Find the greatest common monomial factor of the numerical coefficients. Second, find the variables with the least exponents that appears in each term of the polynomial. It serves as the GCF of literal coefficients. Third step, get the product of the greatest common factor of the numerical coefficient and the variables. The product serves as the greatest common monomial factor of the given polynomial. Next is to find the other factor by dividing the given polynomial by its greatest monomial factor. And last, write the final factored form of the polynomial. Let us wrap up this session through an evaluation. I believe that through practice, we can improve our skills in factoring polynomials. Practice makes you better, isn't it? Now, bring out your pen and paper and let's solve together. Write the factors of the following expressions. I'll be giving you 10 seconds in each question. If you think that it is not enough, you can pause this video to finish your solution before we reveal the right answer.
How many items did you get correctly? Who among you got a perfect score? Wow, you're off to a good start. Who among you got a score lower than 5? Don't worry, you're also off to a good start. You just have to check your solution, check what went wrong, and redo it. Remember that it is not how fast or how long you do it. What matters is you keep practicing until you can do it. There is nothing wrong with learning at your own pace. Anyway, this has been Teacher Mark saying that math matters.